One of my favorite ways to adapt human dishes for dogs is by swapping out the parts they don't need. In this lasagna recipe, we replace pasta sheets with thin strips of courgette. Dogs don't need refined carbohydrates like pasta, so using vegetables gives us the same layered effect with far more nutritional value. For this recipe, I'm preparing a 1000 kilocalorie batch. But if you want to know exactly how much your dog should eat, or you want to scale the recipe up or down, the Drooli app calculates everything for you automatically, so download it if you haven't already. I begin by preparing the vegetables. I take a whole courgette and slice it lengthways into thin, even strips. I will sear them lightly in a dry pan, just a minute or two, to soften them and remove some of the moisture so they hold up nicely in the final dish. I then dice the tomatoes into small cubes. Tomatoes provide a natural antioxidant like lycopene, and they are safe for dogs as long as they are ripe and cooked. Once the veggies are done, I put them on a separate plate and chop the liver. At this point, I also separate the eggs. The yolks will go straight into the warm beef and veg mixture, helping bind the layers together while adding choline and highly digestible protein. And the egg whites I will whisk separately until they form a light foam. This will become our fluffy top layer. You can also scrape out the eggshell membrane. It's rich in glucosamine, chondroitin and collagen, so very beneficial for the joints. Next, I prepare the beef mixture. I brown the ground beef in a pan over medium heat. Beef is rich in amino acids, iron and B vitamins, all important for maintaining muscle health and steady energy. I then add previously chopped liver to the pan and cook for another minute or so. Liver is incredibly nutrient dense, but because it's so potent, we use it in controlled amounts to avoid excess vitamin A. Once the liver is cooked through, I add chopped tomatoes. Once the vegetables soften, I stir in the whole hemp seeds. They bring natural omega fats, minerals and amino acids, adding a nutritional boost to the whole dish. At this point, I also add the previously separated egg yolks to the mix and mix it through. Before layering the lasagna, I mix in Olli. Because this recipe needs to bake briefly to set the top, we add Olli before the oven step. And to protect heat-sensitive vitamins like B1, B6 and folate, I keep the baking temperature low and the cooking time short. This keeps the nutrients intact while still giving us that beautiful set topping. As soon as Olli mixes in with the warm ingredients, you'll notice the color shift to dark green, and that's completely normal. Spirulina will tint everything it comes in contact with. Luckily, our dogs don't mind the color at all. They judge meals by smell, texture, not appearance. Even with fresh ingredients, home-cooked meals can miss nutrients like iodine, zinc, vitamin D and manganese, and Olli fills those gaps in one go, so don't skip this step. If your mixture looks a little bit too dry, you can always add a little bit of previously boiled water to loosen up a little bit. Now let's assemble the lasagna. I start with a layer of softened courgette at the bottom of a small oven-safe dish. Then add a layer of the beef mixture. Then another courgette layer, then more mixture, alternating until I reach the top. Once the final courgette layer is down, I gently spread the whipped egg whites across the top. As they bake, they puff slightly and create a soft, airy topping that dogs really enjoy. I bake the lasagna on low heat, about 140 to 150 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 minutes, just long enough for the egg whites to set and the layers to settle without overcooking the nutrients. After baking, I let it cool completely. Cooling helps firm up the layers and makes the dish easier to portion. And that's your beef and courgette lasagna. Gentle on digestion, full of natural whole food nutrients and completely balanced with Olli. For personalized feeding amounts and the full nutrient breakdown of this and many other recipes, download our Drooli app. Thanks for watching.